In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Dear friends and fellows in Pakistan and abroad, bitter experiences does happen to each and every one of us. Bitter experiences does happen to each and every one of us. But these bitter experiences does not leave us as soon as it does happen. As a matter of fact, it remains with us. It remains with us in the shape of the memories, in the form of the memories. While we were experiencing something painful, obviously we were in trouble, we were unhappy, maybe we were crying, our heart and mind was crying. Obviously, painful experiences are not something which are so palatable. Nobody want to have it. Whether it these bitter experiences are because of we ourselves or because of the error or mistake of someone else, whatever the reason, the bitter experiences somehow becomes painful and troublesome. But the more trouble and even the much more trouble is that we keep repeating this bitter experience inside our mind again and again, repeatedly, many a time, dozens of times, and maybe many dozens of times. We keep repeating it off and on in our mind, and we keep getting pain and trouble out of all these experiences. This is actually a very unwise attitude, and this is an attitude by most of the people, maybe almost all of the people, except the very few exceptions only. Everyone else cannot be an exceptional case, but there are certain exceptional cases everywhere else, here in our society too. Now these people do feel pain and trouble while they were experiencing such an unpalatable, such a troublesome experience. But they don't repeat it inside their mind again and again, several times, dozens of times. They don't repeat it. This is the reason. Dear friends and fellows in Pakistan and abroad, today we are going to talk about a kind of simple technique. This simple technique will enable us to stop getting those bitter experiences which we do get later on, several times, hundreds of times, dozens of times, and hundreds of times. We can protect ourselves from this sort of things. We can protect ourselves from this sort of things. Dear friends and fellows in Pakistan and abroad, this is all how can we do that? We can somehow attach a very positive meaning to each of the bitter experience instead of attaching the very negative meaning. And not only that, we can, if at all we succeed, if at all every time we do remember it, we should make a kind of commitment, we should make a kind of firm promise with we ourselves, that every time I do remember remember it. I shall try to improve the words I have attached with it. I shall try to make it more and more positive so that it becomes that much positive that it becomes actually a palatable one. Instead of becoming an unpalatable one, it will become a pleasant one. Instead of becoming an unpleasant one, it is as simple as this one. No complication at all, no difficulty at all. It does take a bit of effort. Obviously, every time we are remembering, now we have made it a sort of promise with we ourselves that I shall improve the words I have attached with it. It is like making those images wear new clothes. It is like changing the clothes, providing the better clothes every time we do remember it. We shall try to make it wear even a better and even a more better apparel so that it looks beautiful and it becomes useful instead of becoming a useless, rather a painful one. We are trying to make it something very useful, something very beneficial. And another benefit of this will be, on the one hand these remembrance, these every time we do remember it, we will not be feeling the pain and the trouble. We will not be feeling a kind of aching etches in our mind and heart. Rather, we will feel good. And once we stop feeling the pain out of it, let me tell you with enough amount of confidence that we will reduce the remembrance of it, because it is not any painful, it is not as painful. Rather, it is getting pleasant and even more pleasant with the passage of time. It is getting useful and it is getting even more useful with the passage of time. It is going to become a very good lesson. And every time I do remember it, I shall not be feeling bad because I have provided it, because I have to made it wear the very good clothes and a very good paint, a very good thing. Now it is not painful anymore. On the one hand, on the other hand, it will help me a lot. It will help me a lot in protecting myself from the similar bitter experiences in the future as well, in the present as well. So this is something how we need to tackle, how we need to manage the bitter experiences. That is how we should treat the bitter experiences. That is the finest ever technique to finest ever technique to tackle our bitter experiences. Thank you. Jazakallah.